In case you missed it, here's Dave and Cheryl's favorite moments of the week.
So on top of the weather we're dealing with, the extreme cold, we want to mitigate Blue Monday as best we can. Today is Blue Monday. We'll try and put the smiles on your faces as best we can. It's supposed to be, I guess, Cheryl, the most depressing day of the whole year.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If you think there's some sort of science behind it, not really. A travel company in the UK came up with this as a PR stunt back in the day. It's based on a formula that's supposed to calculate how depressing any given day is based on things like weather.
Yeah, what we're doing through
post-holiday stress, your New Year's resolution, which you've now thrown the towel in on, and the fact that Mondays are generally not fun in general.
No, they stink. They stink. So a PR stunt from a travel company. So they probably just thought, hey, mid-January, book your warm vacation, right? That's probably where that came from. Not very scientific, but the formula claims in the Northern Hemisphere, the saddest day of the year is always the third Monday in January. And that's where we are right now. The happiest day, as we look forward to that, that's in mid to late June. So this is where we bottom out. And the happiest day will be a little bit later on this year.
But not to worry. We do have some science-backed ways to help cheer yourself up today. So here's a list of some things that experts say you can do to, ward off the Blue Mondays. They include getting some exercise, getting some sun, if possible. Just make sure you bundle up.
Yeah.
Doing something fun with people you like. Maybe make plans to go for drinks with friends or dinner or go to an activity like go bowling or something.
Even a coffee for an hour.
Yeah. And or eat some chocolate. Specifically, they say 85% dark chocolate.
Don't have to tell me twice. So we'll get through it. It's stinking cold out there. It's Monday. It's Blue Monday, but we'll get through it the best we can.
Now is the time.
And now it's time for...
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Well, this is, I believe, a pay grade that is way above where we are, Cheryl.
Oh, definitely. Louis Vuitton is now selling a sandwich bag. Yes, it looks like a brown paper bag that you would take your lunch in back in the day. They're now selling them for $3,130.
What?
Now,
a sandwich bag.
Now, it's not an actual brown paper bag. It's just shaped like one. It's made of leather and has a blue fabric fastener, kind of like how a lunch bag would be taped shut.
But for $3,000 American.
Yes. And I think they're probably charging this much because the bag was designed by the singer Pharrell. The happy song.
Happy. You won't be happy when you're shelling out $3,000 for a sandwich bag.
There's also a shopping bag, apparently, which comes with handles. But no word on how much that one costs. I can only assume it's going to be more because it'll be bigger.
Bigger. Probably twice as big, twice as expensive. Sandwich bag. $3,100 American. Great that it was designed by Pharrell, but no thank you.
Pass.
I'll pass.
I'll go with my regular brown paper bag for what, 10 cents?
Even then, I'm cranky about that, too.
Yeah.
10 cents
Anytime
per bag.
you're like walking out of the grocery store just carrying everything in your arms.
Yeah. I can do it. I don't need help. Parks Canada has also issued a winter warning. It's not your typical winter warning on its Facebook page. I'd love to know the person who posted this and had to come up with this warning. The warning from Parks Canada is don't let a moose lick your car, please.
What?
Don't let a moose lick your car.
Moose like licking cars? Didn't realize that was a thing.
Well, even if they do or they don't, just don't let them lick the car. These animals apparently crave salt and have learned that during the winter weather, of course, a lot of cars pick up a lot of salt from icy roads through most of Canada. Unfortunately, moose can eat toxins picked up by the salt as well. So with all the grime and the dirt and everything else that's on our cars with the salt, the moose can ingest that. So, quote, if it's safe to keep going without running into the moose, then we would recommend people just try to slowly, carefully drive away.
But what happens if you end up with like a Christmas Story situation and like the moose's tongue is stuck to your car now?
Well,
then what do you do?
Gently remove the moose's tongue from your car the best you can. Tracy McKay of Parks Canada said, just try not to let the moose lick your car. Please and thank you. We might save you a little bit of time with this story. There is one thing around the house that we will give you permission to not do, and it will help your health.
Yeah, I know a lot of people swear by making your bed every morning, right? You start with a clean slate and good for like being on task and organized. Well, some experts are saying stop making your bed. And the reason why is because millions of microscopic dust mites, they emerge from our mattresses and bed sheets every night to snack on the tasty flakes of our dead skin.
And to back this up, here is a Dr. Surmed Mezer on why you should not necessarily make your bed often at all.
Leave your bed like this in the morning. Your health will thank you for it. The reason why is even if you don't have a partner, you're never sleeping alone. That's because our beds contain millions of these dust mites which actually feast on human flesh overnight, and they survive because of the moisture. When we make our beds in the morning, it actually helps them to live and reproduce so that they can then go on and multiply. You may not even know that you're allergic to them, but they can cause things like nasal congestion or annoying skin rashes that you didn't even realize were because of them. That's also the reason why you should change your bed sheets as often as possible, ideally every week, but at most every 2 weeks.
There you go, Dr. Mezer on why you should not make your bed every day.
Yeah, those dust mites, they like warm, humid spots with plenty of food. Your bed is the perfect spot for that. So, just another excuse. Why aren't you making the bed this morning? Well, it's dust mites.
Now I've got to go burn my bed. Pardon me. And there's always some kind of fun time wasters online, like wherever you go. Reddit is a top place of mine. I like to go through Reddit. There's a lot of interesting things on there and a lot of toxic things too. But this one caught my eye. There's a poll on Reddit where somebody asked, for every year you remove from your life, so on the back end of it, you shave time off of your life, you get $500,000 per year that you take off. How many years would you give up?
Well, apparently, the most popular answer was 1 to 2 years. 40% of people say they give up their last year or two for $500K to $1 million.
I would say 2, maybe 3.
Well, and I posed to you, I was like, do I get that $1 million now? Because then I could invest that and then be, by the time I do hit retirement, I'm good to go.
For a deal like that, I would think you would get the money right away, and then you would have your life shaved off at the end. 18%, just under 1 in 5, say they would give up 3 to 4 years of their life for up to $2 million. And another chunk of people, that same amount, 18%, they said no deal. They're not taking any time away at all. Life's too short as it is.
But here's the thing is, I think I would do it for maybe a year or two, because then you can take that money and then I can travel the world and go and see all those places that I've been dreaming of.
I guess.
Take advantage of those years when I can do that.
Right. Next most popular answer on this thing on Reddit was the opposite. About 15% of people said, hey, just show me as much money as you can. I'll give up 9 years or more. That would translate to at least $4.5 million, upwards of $5 million. That's too much.
Yeah, no, I don't think I could give up a decade of my life, but.
And there's so many factors out there as to how long you're going to live anyway. So, you never know when your last day is going to be. So that's an interesting thing. But you're always coming up with different things online. How much time are you willing to give up off your life for a certain amount of money?
And now it's time for...
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's random.
Is that a fact?
4 random facts.
Did you know that watching blood-curdling horror movies... Are you a horror movie person? Or
I do
no?
not like horror movies.
They just don't-
Not my jam.
They can actually thicken your blood. Blood-curdling horror movies, they can actually thicken your blood. Fear, if you're scared of these kinds of movies, causes an increase in a blood-clotting protein called factor VIII. So if you've got thin blood and you want to thicken it up a little bit, hey, maybe a few horror movies. Have a binge-watching evening.
I think I'll pass.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Okay.
So how many websites do you think there are in the world, Mike?
Oh, my goodness. Hundreds of thousands.
Well, apparently there are now 1.13 billion.
Oh, my goodness.
Billion websites.
Billion.
However, only about 200 million are actually active. The rest are just mainly parked domains that no one uses anymore.
It's hard to believe that Google has not been around since the dawn of the internet. It came years after the internet was invented.
It just feels that way.
And we relied on like Alta Vista
Yahoo?
Yahoo.
Ask
Yeah.
Jeeves?
Ask Jeeves was another one, too. So Yahoo's original name in 1994 was Jerry's Guide to the World Wide Web. We don't know who Jerry is.
The guy who invented it?
I guess. But it was renamed to Yahoo. It was created in January of 1995. So there's a little bit of internet history for you.
There's an extra
That's right.
random fact.
We're going to find out who Jerry is.
Did you know that sushi actually means sour rice in Japanese?
That's not adding to the appetizing.
Well, the reason they call it sushi is because Japanese actually believe the most important ingredient in sushi is the rice, not the fish.
I'm more onto sushi than I used to be. I used to just didn't like it at all. Now I'm coming around a little bit. I don't know.
You stick to the California rolls that don't even have any fish in it.
Yeah. And sour rice, it's not adding to its appeal either. The average height of the NBA, it's gone up about 3 inches since the league started back in the late 1940s. The average height started at 6'3", and now it's 6'6". The Spurs rookie sensation, Victor Wembanyama, he is the tallest current player at 7'4". There have been some studies done the last little while. Some foods that you should never put in the fridge, but a lot of us make that mistake. We thought, oh, you know what? It's not going to hurt to put it in the fridge. Maybe it'll even last a bit longer. But there are some foods that you really shouldn't do that to.
Like tomatoes. Actually storing them in the fridge really alters their flavor and texture for the worse. Makes them kind of like mealy.
Yeah.
It's not great.
Yeah, especially when if you have a barbecue or something, you're using half a tomato. If you're doing burgers or whatever, you use half the tomato and you thought, well, I have half a tomato, I'll just throw it in the fridge. I have found that that's a terrible idea.
It is always, but like, what else are you going to do?
Yeah.
I guess just use the whole tomato up. That's the end of the story there. But
You have half a tomato, just eat it.
So instead, tomatoes, store them on the countertop or on a windowsill.
Berries. We actually have a lot of strawberries right now that I thought we would be eating a lot quicker than we are.
That's how it goes with children.
And strawberries, guess where they are right now? They're in the fridge. They're perishable, but refrigeration, not always the best kind of way to do this, as they can actually lead them to lose their sweet taste and juicy texture in the long run. Optimum flavor for berries, leave them at room temperature. Consume them within 3 or 4 days if you can. And if you want to refrigerate them, take them out of the fridge for a few hours before for more of a flavor for the berries.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, this one I was kind of surprised. Hot sauce. You shouldn't be putting hot sauce in the fridge. And if you're like, yeah, but once you open it, they got the bacteria. There's enough vinegar in hot sauces to ensure bacteria does not grow in the bottle, so it can live in the cabinet or pantry. And the added bonus is that when you store it in your pantry, the chili flavor is more potent in the hot sauce. So if you want it to be a little spicier, have a little more kick, don't put it in the fridge. If you want to dull down the flavor, though, or the spiciness, then throw that hot sauce in the fridge.
This is too hot. You can do that there. How about avocados? You actually say you have a lot of avocados.
I bought a bag, and they all got ripe at the same time, and now I'm like up to my eyeballs. I guess we're making guacamole.
Guac party at Cheryl's. You should only put avocados in the fridge once they're ripe before you intend to eat them. Just before you do that, leave them somewhere at room temperature, usually, preferably out of direct sunlight, for a few days.
I guess maybe I need to chuck them in the fridge then to slow down that ripening process.
Or when you're off work today, guacamole it up.
And finally, another item we've been putting in the fridge that we maybe shouldn't, champagne. Now, here's a caveat with that. If you're going to open the bottle within 3 to 4 days, put it in the fridge because you do want to chill it.
Yeah.
But if it's going to be longer than that, the cork could actually dry out and spoil the bubbles in the fridge. So instead, you're not going to drink it in the next couple of days. Champagne, store it in a cool, dark, humid environment, then chill it a day or two before you're going to drink it.
I just always thought champagne was something you buy, and then once you open it, you'll have some people over maybe, and you'll just consume it, and you won't have any leftovers to worry about.
No, but if you're buying like a couple bottles in advance, maybe that's on sale, don't be keeping it in the fridge. And they say also for short-term storage, you want to stand the bottle upright. For long-term, lay it sideways. So
champagne, avocados, hot sauce, berries, and tomatoes, 5 things you really should never put in the fridge. I've just found out now I'm a multiple offender. I think Chatham-Kent is now getting traction in New Zealand. Have you heard about this story? I think New Zealanders are actually knowing who we are.
Yeah, this is kind of crazy. So one of our coworkers, Jen, sent this to me the other night. And apparently in, one of these private groups on Facebook for the community here in Chatham, someone posted to say that they were the manager at a McDonald's in New Zealand and just wanted to give everyone a heads up because they said recently you got a new McDonald's store, which is McDonald's Blenheim.
Right.
Said, unfortunately, we've also had a McDonald's Blenheim since 1995.
There's a Blenheim, New Zealand.
Yes, apparently there's a Blenheim, New Zealand. And they said when people have been looking up the number for the new McDonald's in Blenheim, Ontario, they've been finding the one for New Zealand and calling it, and then apparently getting a little belligerent with them on the phone when they tell them, well, you've called the restaurant in New Zealand.
Wouldn't you think that, okay, you look it up online, you wouldn't think that the numbers are a little bit different? Because I'm assuming the New Zealand exchange, the area code, is a little different than what we've got here.
Well, it would be, but if you're just Googling, I'm just doing it right now, McDonald's Blenheim, if I can type properly this morning.
Yeah.
McDonald's Blenheim. Yeah, the first one that comes up is in the, Google, on the side there for the business. It's for New Zealand.
It's New Zealand.
And so then you just click phone number, it calls it, right, from your phone.
I suppose.
So you're never actually putting the number in and realizing, oh, wait, now you're going to get hit with a huge long distance charge, too.
I never thought of that. Okay, for your cell phone, you just click on the link, it calls you, and that's
so
fine.
if you Google McDonald's Blenheim, the business that comes up is the one in New Zealand.
Oh, my goodness. McDonald's New Zealand will no longer be answering any calls from Canadian phone numbers. This is from the Post and from the release from New Zealand. So if you're trying to call McDonald's and they're not answering, please make sure you're calling the right Blenheim if you're looking for Blenheim, Ontario. Make sure it's the right number. Much love to you all. I'm sure your community is otherwise amazing.
What bothers me is the fact that the abuse they've been getting upon informing people, well, you've called New Zealand and we can't help you.
Right. Oh, my goodness. So we've blown up a little bit. We're now in New Zealand. You're right. First thing you get, McDonald's Blenheim, is this exchange plus 64 3557 8030. It's crazy. So we're now getting some traction in New Zealand. But hi to the folks in Blenheim, Ontario, with the new McDonald's opening up there. We know going grocery shopping is not getting any cheaper as we go on and on here. It's always getting more expensive. There's a chef on TikTok. Again, we seem to have a TikTok thing every day to talk about. There is a chef there going viral. He's got a grocery shopping hack for you.
His name is Chef Will Coleman, and it's called the 6-to-1 grocery method.
You grab 6 veggies, 5 fruits, 4 proteins, 3 starches, 2 sauces or spreads, and 1 fun thing for yourself. This makes grocery shopping way easier, way cheaper, and you get in and out, so you're not there all day long. This has worked for me, my homies, and everybody on social media that has tried it. Give it a try and let me know how you like it. So you want to grab your veggies, your fruit, your protein. That's chicken, that's tofu, that's beef, that's anything you want. That's eggs, that's yogurt. You want to grab those starches, that's potatoes, that's rice. You get it. Try it right now and let me know you like it. 6-to-1 method has changed my life.
6-to-1 method next time you're in the grocery store. You've got to be disciplined. You've got to go in there and you've got to stick to that. And it's going to be good for you. So it's good no matter if you're on keto, if you're on a special diet. It works for pretty much everybody.
Yeah, and I guess it really challenges you to make more home-cooked meals with a variety of ingredients. But as long as you're buying, things that you like, then you're probably going to come up with something.
And you've got to be disciplined to not go through all the aisles and say, oh, this would be good. Hey, this bag of cookies is great.
You mean sticking to a list?
Yeah, right. I don't think that's ever happened.
You've been listening to Dave and Cheryl's Favorite Moments of the Week.